You ever heard of a little thing called forgiveness? Let me tell you about a story that sticks with me, and it reminds me of forgiveness, or really the lack of it. See, there was a father, and we'll call him Mike. And Mike had a family. He was married, he had 2 kids. On the outside, everything seemed perfect in Mike's family. But on the inside, Mike was battling demons. He ended up making decisions that he's going to regret for the rest of his life. You may have guessed it. Mike was unfaithful to his wife. When his wife, Sarah, when she found out, she was devastated. Her heart was literally shattered into pieces. You know that deep feeling inside you where something just ain't right. She was broken on the inside. The kind of broken that shakes you to the core. But here's where it gets really incredible, man. She forgave Mike. There were tears, there was therapy, and tons of prayer. But she forgave him. And over time, she chose to let go of the pain and rebuild their marriage. She forgave him. And over time, she chose to let go of the pain and rebuild their marriage. And Sarah showed Mike grace, the type of grace that most people can't even fathom. Only a wife can extend that grace. Only the mother of your children can extend that grace. And by this time, you would have thought that Mike would learn about forgiveness and how to extend forgiveness. And see, to this day, Mike doesn't talk to his dad. He doesn't forgive his dad. And I bet you can guess why. It's because his dad stepped out on his family, but not for the reason that you think, see. Mike's dad stepped out on his family because he caught Mike's mother being unfaithful. And he couldn't extend the grace, and he couldn't find it in him to extend the grace and mercy, so he stepped out on the family. But it's been decades since Mike has spoken to his father. I mean, you would think the person that understands how to extend grace the most is the person in which grace was extended to you and forgiveness was extended to you. It's interesting, but it reminds me of a Bible story, Matthew 18:21-35. Peter is asking Jesus, how many times do I need to forgive somebody? 7 times? And Jesus says, no, Peter, 77 times. And see, there's a parable about a man that was in prison that owed somebody, if we put it in our terms today, it would be billions of dollars. And he sat there and he began to cry and beg and plead for mercy because he had a family and he was looking for forgiveness. And debt owner at that time said, I forgive you. I forgive you of it all. Get up and go back to your family. But guess what? On the way out, the man seen somebody that owed him a couple $100 in our time. And boy, did he let him have it. He tore into him so hard, but guess who found out? And guess who found out? His master found out. The debt owner, the one that just forgave him of the debt, found out. And he drug him back in and he said, I just extended you forgiveness and mercy and grace. Why couldn't you extend it? You should have extended it. And guess what happened? He was thrown in jail until he can pay off his $1 million debt, billion-dollar debt. It's a really tough story. It's a really tough parable to consume. But for example, Mike was in the same boat. He hasn't talked to his father in decades because he still has some pain left he's got to deal with. And we can understand that. But if Jesus can extend that grace and that mercy to us, Mike's got to extend it too. You know, the hard part is that grace and mercy doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem like somebody can hurt you so bad and you have to be the one to step out and say, I forgive you. But you know what is really unfair is if you have to carry the weight of unforgiveness. That person on the other side, they might not care if you forgive them or not forgive them. But in deep down, you're carrying the weight. Let the weight go. So don't be like Mike. And so here's the big question. I'll leave you with this. Is there somebody that you need to forgive? Is there somebody that's pressed on your heart that you gotta unhitch the wagon, you gotta let go of the weight? Don't be like Mike, man. Don't carry the weight. Don't be like the person in the story. Somebody's extended you some forgiveness, so make sure you extend it back. Fatherhood Secrets. Cheers.